shots fired airsoft video, and today, been a bit frustrated recently. I've ordered a couple of things for the channel and they are absolutely snowed up in the postal service at the moment. Unfortunately both going parcel force, which means that the delays are strong. I've got one that's been sat in a sorting hub for about 2 weeks now. Hopefully, fingers crossed, one day we will receive it. Quite excited about it. It's a relatively new AEG and would really love to get into that and give you guys a decent review on it. However, that is being delayed dramatically. So I'm sort of like just doing more with the guns or blasters that I've already got, and today we're doing the firing test of this beautiful little WurstWerfer Nightingale that I unboxed a couple of videos ago. And this is a semi-automatic flywheeler, about 130-140 FPS. And if you missed the unboxing video, this is a very sort of well-produced injection molded rubberized grip. So, a high-grade sidearm essentially. It was like a pistol. This one presently has a WurstWerfer or WurstWerfer. I'm not entirely sure how it's pronounced. It might be a sort of German, so W is a V. Carbine kit on it. So essentially, the front section, the top back half here, and the buffer tube are all self-printed, but designs from WurstWerfer. So the bit that you can see that is blue is the actual original pistol that is now in here. The reason it's in this is because I primarily got the Nightingale because I was going to a Nerf event up on the mainland and I needed a 130-ish FPS primary to use in sort of like the lower powered games. Obviously most of my stuff is like 300 FPS or close to that, or over that, and they're for like the big outdoor events, and when you're indoors you need something a bit lower FPS, because a 300 FPS Nerf dart to someone that isn't wearing much if any protective gear can actually be quite painful. Hell, 130, 140 is quite enough at close range. It's not like being hit by a BB, it's a lot heavier. Just to go, my experience with this up there, really good. It's a cracking little piece of kit. New mags are great. These aren't standard worker talon mags like you get with a lot of the worker gear and like a lot of the community blasters are designed to use. These are worker mini angled talons, so you can see the top is slanted when the mag is straight. These are wearing covers, again from the WurstWerfer, and this is essentially an extender. So these are 15 round standard. This gives you a 20 round capacity or a 5 round extra, with a bonus that it looks like a Magpul waffle mag, which really does complete the look when you've got it in your carbine kit. So yeah, experience up there, really good. I've no real complaints about the Nightingale. Accuracy isn't that fantastic in terms of consistency. When you get a good shot, when you get a dart that flies really nicely through the flywheels, it can be very accurate. And range is about 20-25 meters, which is enough for like a CQB event. Today we're firing around 18-19 meters. And you'll see we can hit the target fairly easily, apart from when we get one of these odd sort of inconsistent shots you do tend to get with flywheelers. The performance over the chronograph, if I bring the footage up on screen, this kit allows you to fit a larger battery than the standard sort of battery housing will allow. So we've gone here from sort of like a 500 mAh 3S to an 1100 mAh 3S, and I think that's giving us a bit of boost in performance because we're seeing as high as 143 here, which is a lot for a little worker Nightingale. So I felt got a very good one, or I think the extra battery in there might be bringing it up from sort of like a 130, 135 to a 135, 143 sort of style of performance. So quite impressive, quite consistent, especially for a flywheeler. Getting into the shooting test, I'm sat here at the moment. I haven't been able to review the footage because I'm actually filming this before I do the editing, obviously, and just after I've done the shooting test, so it's fresh in my mind. So I can't see what footage I've got off the scope cam. However, as you can see from the target cam, we are able to get on this target from about 18-19 meters. It's quite a decent performance. The smaller wheels, because obviously this is quite a small pistol, so it has small wheels, aren't known for their overarching accuracy. They tend to be a bit higher RPM, and this to get the power, and this means that it's all a bit chaotic when the darts are going through there. You see, if I run some little bypass of the gun at the end, all the little speckles on it that you see in that picture are dart dust. So these wheels are spinning so fast they're actually stripping the foam off the dart as it's going through. And yeah, it's one of those things where it's lucky that we have accuracy and volume of fire, because flywheels, obviously the major advantage is that you can just keep banging that trigger. As long as you've got rounds in the mag, it will fire a dart. There's no pumping or anything, there's no racking, there's no bolts to pull. It just fires, which is fortunate, because you might get 2 or 3 darts that don't go where you want them, and then you'll get the golden dart that makes the contact with, and gets the tag, so to speak. One thing I will say about this is, luckily, the trigger on it, if I just turn it off, is absolutely fantastic for a semi-automatic mechanical pusher. Triggers in flywheelers are obviously known to be a problem, because what happens is, when you're pulling the trigger, what you're actually doing is you're sending a piece of plastic through here that picks up a dart and pushes it into the flywheels, which are sat sort of here. And as it goes through, it will drag. The dart will drag and everything like that, and it leaves you with a very mushy, sort of inconsistent trigger. However, you can see here that I can just pound this trigger. I'm not getting any hang-ups. The mag speeds brilliantly, which is something I'll come back to in just a second, because there are a couple of issues with mags. There's nothing with the mags, but the ammo you use in it is important. But yeah, just to get back to the trigger, fantastic. I can get about 4 or 5 darts a second just by hammering the trigger. It's like having a full auto blaster with a slow full auto. I know that something like the Dartzone Pro Mark III, which is Dartzone's $150 sort of top-end flywheeler on full auto, is only about it's about 4 or 5 rounds a second, I think, at push, maybe 3.5, 4 rounds. You can beat that with this, just semi-autoing. So fantastic trigger, very impressed. One thing I was going to say about the mags, just to come back to what I was talking about a minute ago, these magazines are about as small and as compact as you can get a short dart magazine to be. They were designed to be the slimmest, so that your grip, when you have a mag and grip blaster, is not huge and uncomfortable. Like some of the full-size Talon grips are massive. I have big hands, I don't struggle with them. I could imagine someone with slightly shorter fingers and a bit less of a wingspan is going to have an issue getting around. He's going to be more like that than you are, control of the grip. So these are very tight for dart fitment. A lot of people complain that these mags actually hang up with half lengths. That is technically true. However, a lot of these people are also using dart pools from, they've had the same darts for 2 years and they just keep using them, especially in flywheelers where you can get away with that. You're not looking to make a barrel seal with anything, like you are with a Springer. However, these are about 37mm. Now, Worker's old style darts are 38mm long. Their newer darts that they've started producing since they started making these mags are 36mm. So if you have one of these and you're having a problem with the feed because this is getting hung up because the darts are rubbing on the front and the back of the thing, buy a couple of boxes of new darts. They're not that expensive. You get them for about £9 in the UK. It will transform your experience of the Nightingale. And that is because it's Worker themselves that essentially made this mag so small that the old darts don't really fit very well in it, and a lot of the other half lengths won't fit very well in it. But if you get a brand new pack of Worker half length darts from someone like UK Nerf or in the UK, then you can guarantee they're going to be about 36mm long, and they will fit and run fine lovely out of this. As you've seen me absolutely finger banging the trigger of this thing, and these mags have no issue keeping up with that. So all that said, great little piece of kit. These are around £65 for the package. Obviously the extras like the carbine kit and all that, I think it's a very reasonable amount of money, about 20 quid for the files if you can print one of these yourself, or I'm sure you could get them printed. But the actual package itself, the little sling that you get with it, the little pocket holster, I never really used them because I just slung it on the back here. And have it hanging off by my side for easy pickup because I was running a big Springer primary. This is a really cool little piece of kit. If your games mainly involve 130 FPS-ish caps, then this is actually a really cool piece of kit to use as a full-blown primary because it has decent capacity. The mags are cheap. You can buy these for they're sub 10 quid. So you can pick yourself up 60 of them and a thing, and have a full-blown sort of very effective package for about 110 quid, which does seem pretty pricey. The other thing is obviously you will need a battery, but the batteries are realistically about sort of they're 10 to 15 pounds. So the whole thing, what I'm trying to get across is, as a flywheeler, I'm not a huge fan of big sort of full-blown flywheelers. However, I am presently building a brushless flywheeler, so I'll see how that comes out. But as a small fast-firing sidearm with a small form factor, this is actually really cool, and I can forgive its slightly funky accuracy at times, because you could just keep spamming that trigger and you will hit where you're aiming at eventually. Really good fun, very well built. So I've been Ben, it's been a Shots Fired Airsoft video. Thank you very much for watching. I hope I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.